plenty of sunshine around. It's going to be a few degrees warmer with a high of 88. And then Saturday, sunshine and a high of 90 degrees. On Sunday, we'll begin the new fall season, sunny and 91. I'm Georgia meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the GNN Weather Center.
105.3 WSGC.
And good morning to you. 4 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour, 67 degrees in the Granite Capital. And folks, what a great community spotlight we have today. Folks, the bank, Oconee State Bank, has just been everywhere lately. And as they pop up on the matrix board in the Granite Bowl, they also have different events and things going on in our community and supporting our community. Oconee State Bank right here in Elberton now with a location, the former Elberton Federal Building. And right now I'd love to introduce someone that I have gotten to know. He has become a friend of mine, Mr. Tim Ryan with Oconee State Bank Financial Services. And good morning to you, Tim.
Good morning, Stan. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. I appreciate that.
Look, I've been looking forward to this because Oconee State Bank brings more than just a savings account, a checking account. There's a whole nother division, a financial services division. And, of course, folks want to know more about that, and y'all have got events planned. But just kind of what is coming up at Oconee State Bank?
Sure. Just a quick update in terms of events that we're going to be putting on. One of the things we've done, and maybe just for clarity, I'm part of an advisory group that's an extension of the bank. So Oconee State Financial Services is our team. We're a wealth group of 4 senior advisors, and we have 3 support staff. And we work really to help those that are bank clients who have questions above and beyond deposits, savings, checking, loans, etc. We become an outlet. We become an outlet for them in terms of financial planning needs, retirement planning needs. We also work with them. We work with small business owners as well as families. So that's a key thing about that, is it's not just individuals we're working with. We're trying to be a resource to the community, whether it's business owners or it's families as it relates to that. So.
And I know that you have an office with Oconee State Bank in Watkinsville.
That's correct.
But I see you in Elberton a lot.
Well, we have presence all over the state of Georgia, and so we do have the bank itself has multiple branches. It's centered in Oconee, right? Watkinsville is the corporate headquarters, but there's offices in Athens. Obviously, here our presence in Elberton. And there's a growing presence throughout the Southeast. So my job as an advisor to support the bank, the branch, is to make sure I'm here consistently to be a resource, because there are more and more questions that are coming up. And we won't get into the political season, but those are types of events that prompt more questions from folks. What's going on? What should we be doing? Yeah. How should I think about my retirement? What's the risk associated with my money or my financial matters? So to be here and be consistent, that's key to what I'm trying to do and what we try to do to support the community.
And look, that is questions a lot of folks will have in finance, even retirement, investment, different things. And of course, if you're a small business, having a financial partner in everything, all those decisions, and Oconee State Bank has a place to fit those needs. And I know that you have an event coming up in October. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So maybe to back up a quick step. So our group, we have about 3 years ago, early in 2022, when inflation was obviously at a peak. We were seeing a lot of volatility and people were asking more questions. We as a team, and again, I operate out of Watkinsville, also out of here, but we as a team said, let's try something that we haven't done in a while, is let's try to be forward-thinking, be proactive, and start to have educational forums for our clients and for folks in the community. So we invited back in February of 2022, our first event we hosted was a market update and a sort of an outlook. Interestingly enough, that very first day that we hosted it was the morning after Russia invaded Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
So we had a room full of people that wanted to know what's going on, how do we manage this, should I be concerned? And frankly, it was a really good opportunity for us to make sure we outline what we think, to tell the community how we're managing clients' assets, how they should think about shocks to the system or events like this. And we've started to do that on a quarterly basis. And so for the last 2.5 years, we've done quarterly breakfast forums. And we're going to do our very first one here in Elberton, October 15th at 8:30 a.m. We're going to host it at the bank, right there on East Church Street, right across from the theater. And we invite folks to come and join us. We'll provide breakfast. There's no cost, but it really is an opportunity for maybe some questions to be asked. And the one we're going to host on the 15th really outlines a guide to investing during election seasons, which is the sort of the topic that we're thinking about this fall.
The season.
Yes.
Yeah, it's this season's topic.
That's
so,
right.
And that is going to be a very special, a great time. Again, that is a breakfast, y'all, on October 15th, right here at our Oconee State Bank location. And Tim, what if we get too many? What if we get people? What if it's full? What happens if we fill it up?
Well, we've interestingly enough, as we've been doing this in other markets, we've had a growing sort of interest, and we've been at capacity the 3 times we've hosted this year.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised we get a decent response.
Yeah.
We have set aside time and space in the branch. However, I've also talked to the hotel next door. They've got a reserve for us. So there's a back room, conference room. If we get a nice response, we will make adjustments accordingly, and we'll keep folks posted
Yes.
about that.
Well, that is awesome, and again, we're so thankful for Oconee State Bank, but also just what I'd call the branch of reaching out in different ways to help the community, and financial services being a big part of that. And just a little bit more about financial services and helping people, like IRAs, investments. What are some of the things that if people have thought, we need to start thinking retirement, or we need to start thinking building something for the future? What are some things that they can think about, or talk to you, or look forward to even asking you about?
Sure. I really think it comes down to life events or things that occur in their life to say, I wonder if we're on track. Is there somebody I should talk to?
Yeah.
Because everyone we communicate with who comes in my office has a different story to tell.
Yes.
And so getting to know them and understanding what their needs are, they might be going through a life change, whether it's marital, they moved into the area, a job change, things like that will prompt questions. What do I do with the assets I may have saved, and what am I doing going forward to think about retirement? So those life changes tend to prompt questions, and we enjoy those conversations because that allows us to understand what your needs are, how much risk you want to take or don't want to take, how we should manage that process. And the goal for us is again, as fiduciaries, that's an industry term, but we are designed and we're obligated to make sure we're thinking about the client first and we're doing what's in their best interest. So everybody's unique, and life events tend to prompt those questions. So we would be happy to talk details of what that might look like, but if you do have questions, that's why we're here to be a resource to the community.
Awesome. And how would folks contact you or the bank?
Sure. So if you want to get in touch with me directly, I'm happy to give you my office number. I can give you my email as well, but you can call me at 706-769-3665. If you happen to be in the bank branch here and have questions and don't remember my name or number, just ask for financial services. They'll point you to us, and we'll reach out to you, because Oconee State Financial Services is our group.
And it is Tim Ryan from Oconee State Bank Financial Services, and man, an awesome guy. I've gotten to know him over the last few months, and I'm trying to think back to when we first met. I think we ate at the quarry, but I can't remember. Is that right?
Yes. I think that's correct.
And Tim is just a great guy, a good family man, and just a great guy to talk to, and has become a friend. And I believe you'll find it the same way when you're talking with Tim. And again, stop by Oconee State Bank, our local bank, get to know them, and then ask, hey, I heard about this guy, this Tim Ryan, and check with him about the future, because it's never too early to plan for the future. And it really now's the time. It's
never too early, never too late. You always want to be thinking about, if that question comes up, start to have that conversation, because there is you can map that out and you can have that conversation. That's our goal, to really try to be a resource to you.
And before we wrap up, and I'm going to give it back to you, just one more question. I always hear people in times we talk about volatility, or when stocks, everything's going down, and I'll hear people say, oh, I lost X amount of dollars today, or I've lost, this went down, and all that. I just wanted to ask that question. Isn't that really when it's on sale? I mean, did we really lose, or are the prices what I call clearance rack? I mean,
Sure.
Anyway, I'm sorry. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just asking, the question.
Well, I think you have to be careful to react to short-term changes in the markets.
Yeah.
Because you have to think more broadly. What's your plan? If what we try to do from a risk management standpoint is figure out what your goals are, what your risk tolerance is, and we're mindful that markets will change in times, but we've adjusted and hopefully built into your portfolio and your strategy that's designed to help mitigate and sort of minimize some of that volatility. Yeah, so we've tried to take that into account. We can never forecast what the markets will do. But to your point, when markets actually do see some, we've seen that the last few years where markets will climb. It's not uncommon that they'll actually take a breather and give back some of the returns. But you have to stay committed to your plan. And in times like that, you might even take advantage of some of those discounts because markets will find their footing and tend to reaccelerate as long as the economy and the conditions are right. And our job is to take that off the plate of clients. It's to take the sort of the concern that they have, give them context, and then make them realize we are moving forward with a plan we've accounted for. So we try to do the best we can to do that, to give them peace in that process.
That is awesome. And again, I just want to say, and this is Stan the man saying this, but if when stocks go down, you didn't really lose anything unless you sell it.
That's correct.
Yes, yeah.
You realize the loss. That is correct.
That's when you lose. So
that's right.
And so don't sell until it goes back up. And just from a standby point since 2018, since I've watched, it usually bounces back. Is typical. So
well, it's interesting.
If it's good stocks.
Yes, I mean we're a bias to quality stocks, so you know what you kind of own. But a funny thing, about a couple of years ago when we were dealing with a lot of volatility with the inflation in 2022, we hosted one of these quarterly events in the summer, and the title was Navigating Volatility.
Yes.
That was actually the title because people were wondering, should I just move to the sidelines or no longer do this?
Yeah.
And we gave them context about how market cycles will go through change. It's normal. But if you look at the history, you see that as long as you stay committed, the markets will provide you some returns. And there's a lot of ways. It's not just stocks. We utilize a lot of different solutions that help, again, round out a portfolio. So we're trying to manage that risk. I use the phrase, and it's not something I'd coined, it's just something I've used. We try to guard your assets while we grow them. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to grow your money,
right?
But you're also not trying to take undue risk because nobody wants to take more risk than necessary,
right?
But they want to try to sort of move the dial forward and move their assets to where they're going to reap the benefits down the road.
Yes.
Just stay committed to the plan, and that's what our process ongoing is. It's not just set and forget it.
Yeah.
It's let's have a conversation to make sure we're on track.
Yeah.
And if things change, we can adjust accordingly. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That is awesome. Well, look, Oconee State Bank is in Elberton. Stop by to see Donna, Dana, Lou, and there's probably a new person there that I'm not mentioning, but the staff at Oconee State Bank. And before we wrap up, Tim, anything else before we wrap?
No, I just appreciate the time. I've enjoyed getting to know you the last year or two since I've spent a lot of time up here, and our job is to be committed and consistent to serve the community. So we're grateful for the time this morning.
All right. Awesome. That is Tim Ryan with Oconee State Bank Financial Services. You can ask for Tim when you go to Oconee State Bank or ask for the contact, and they will get that information to you. And again, we are so thankful for the time. Thank you, Tim, for your time to be on our Community Spotlight for today. Folks, stay tuned. We have more great music for you coming up. The Oak Ridge Boys were on our request line, so we'll have that and more coming up on 105.3 WSGC.